Hello, I'm Julie Lowe. I'm the Executive Director of Talbot Interfaith Shelter. We have developed a program we call S4, and the 4 S's stand for shelter, stability, support, and success. Everyone who comes to us needs one thing in common, and that's shelter. We bring people in, we have an interview with them, and we determine whether they really would be committed to the program, because it takes a commitment. It is coming to classes, it is learning how to manage your finances, it is learning how to manage your family, it is putting yourself on a routine. You don't have to pay any money to be in the shelter. This is a time for you to save your money, pay off any bills you might have, and start saving for your housing in the future. While we're doing this and we're educating people in budgeting and wants versus needs, and how to more effectively parent their children, and a lot of other life skills, we're providing stability with a pretty strict routine. You have to be in the house at a certain time for dinner. Everybody sits around the dinner table together so that there's peer support, and we talk about our successes and our challenges. We try to get the children in a routine so that they're in bed by a certain time and they're able to get up in the morning and go to school. We help provide childcare. So this is a stabilizing force in their lives so that they can regroup their intents towards being stable and independent. This is a path to success. And through our education and our transitional housing program, which helps them they pay a moderate amount of money in the beginning to move into one of our apartments, and we subsidize the rest. And then over time, we reevaluate where they are in the process, and we increase their portion of the rent as long as they're able to handle that. And just kind of help counsel them in a compassionate way and respectful way towards the success of being independent again, because that's really what we all want, is to be financially independent in our own clique, our own family group. And what we do is we provide a bigger family group that sort of helps them put them on that path. What I really want to introduce you to is an amazing piece of art that is a short film which involves the stories of our guests. A few years ago, our then board chair, Peter Boyka, had met an artist at a local cocktail party in his neighborhood, and he brought her to TIS to show her around. And she felt very inspired because her art is about refugees and displacement, and she felt that we were serving people who were displaced and who were essentially refugees, people in search of a home. And she called Matt Kressling, who is a documentarian, and said, "Hey, would you help me with this project?" So Matt actually came over a period of many weeks to meet with a lot of our guests and just to ask them about their story. And we heard some very compelling stories, some heartbreaking stories, some stories of courage and hope. And these are all displayed in this film via their own voices, behind a video track of Anita's very interesting and unique artwork. Let's hear from the artists who put the film together, Anita and Matt, and some of their input on why they did what they did and how it came about.
First, we just knew we wanted to make a project about the shelter. But we thought, we didn't even know, is it going to be about the working of the shelter?
Yeah, we weren't sure how.
So we just started interviewing people, residents of the shelter. And I think what we quickly realized is that the story of their lives before the shelter is very dramatic, because these are people experiencing economic precarity. And then their story when they got to the shelter, just such a relief. Yeah. Almost everyone said it's a relief to be here. It's so nice. There was none of the kind of conflict that we expected. And so we just realized, this project is about how people came to live in the shelter.
This is the last scene in the film, and you see it being built, and then it morphs into a drawing. This one is the kind of scaffolding, which is very symbolic.
Yes.
That you build something, but it can change and it moves, so it's not entirely finished, but it's open. It's a community of people coming together.
So I really just thank you so much for being here and for being open to watching this film. I think it will make a huge impact on your life, and your support of Talbot Interfaith Shelter and our guests is paramount in changing their lives, in redirecting their pathway from kind of disappointment and feeling like they're not seen to definitely being seen and being supported and on a trajectory to success. So thank you for being here.
I've seen a lot in my time.
You know, you're freezing, you got no food.
I'm going at times when
What are you gonna do?
it's fine.
I was in foster care.
My family
It
didn't
was sad.
understand.
And a lot of
that
people
they were trying
look
to
at
say
less
that I
fortunate
was
people
doing
like they're
it
last.
on purpose.
So I got evicted from my apartment.
I was kind of struggling a
They
little bit.
set
the evictions.
We got evicted.
When am I
The
gonna
electric
work?
got cut
Didn't
off.
have no electric, no water. As long as
And
you're
that's when
getting
things
high
started
and
going
everything,
terrible
you
for
ain't gotta
me.
worry about that.
People are alive.
Our air mattress.
They're on the street.
I self-medicated actually all of it.
All these things happen when you don't have a place.
When I was little, my mom would try to get me to stop washing my hands, but I would wash my hands into like they were basically raw. I didn't exactly know why. I mean, even now, like when I go to touch something, it's like something's there. It's really so difficult to try to live with a disorder that wants you to be perfect, but you can't be perfect. Humans aren't perfect. People sometimes say like OCD causes anxiety, but no, it causes like fear, like you're scared. Like if you don't do something, the whole world is going to come crashing down. And when that happens over something as little as washing your hands, that's overwhelming. I don't know, out of the blue, I just started feeling like my father wasn't clean. I felt like if he even came in the room, it's like everything just immediately was ruined. I didn't actually know that OCD could be a person, like a whole person just become an issue. And I was trying to take medicine because I wanted it to stop, but nothing I did seemed to make it stop. And my family didn't understand, like they were trying to say like I was doing it on purpose instead of understanding that I have a mental health issue. I was diagnosed with it when I was 11 years old. My mom's actually a nurse, which is like You would think she would understand because she has a medical degree. I feel like she would know that OCD is real, but I guess when it comes to your own family, you don't want it to be.
My father was a crabber, waterman, and my mother was a hard worker too. She worked at Acme for years until she retired. My mother was kind of abusive, and she wasn't a very good mother. However, that's how she was brought up. I think she got really depressed after my father died, just give up, because she lost the house that my father bought and paid for. I got a call. I was told that she wasn't taking a bath, that the room she was staying in was just like a hoarder's room. And that wasn't at all like the woman that I knew. And so then I ended up having to take care of my mother. A lot of people I hear, well, I wouldn't do that. I don't know how you could do that. Well, she was my mother. It was awkward at first because we hadn't spoken in years, and here I am having to take care of her and clean her up. I could not keep working my part-time job after she had her heart attack because when she came home, she was bedbound. And then she passed away a year later, right before COVID hit. And that's when things started going terrible for me after she passed away. It was the big shutdown and no place was hiring for a while. I don't remember exactly how long, but it seemed like it was forever. And of course my rent got behind. At first I was sending them what I could, but they sent the eviction, the non-renewal of lease, and I'm like, well, Lord. People were like, oh, he's not allowed to do that. Well, what am I supposed to do? Am I going to go to a lawyer and have them, what do you do? Before when I got depressed, I always had it figured it out. This time, it wasn't any figuring out. I was out of luck. I stayed in a hotel for about a week, and my oldest daughter paid for that. She wasn't happy at all. I think she was disappointed because I let myself get to this point. She lives in a nice house in a nice area, and she had 2 extra rooms. One, she said they had to fix up for the baby, because she said if this happened before, it would be different, but we've got to have the room for the baby when the baby comes. And the other room I never say anything about, but I'm thinking, well, you've got the other room. It took me a while, though, to get over that, because I would never let my mother be homeless.
Alone as a child, 4 or 5 years old. I hadn't seen his mom in a couple of years, and I somehow managed to save up $3,000, and we made a plan to move to Maryland. We had taken a tour through this house, and it was beautiful, and he wanted $1,500 a month. I was like, that's amazing, awesome. Only first month's in security deposit. Awesome. We give him the money, we get the keys, we show up that weekend, and there's a family living in the house. There were no pictures, no indications that there was people there, no dirty laundry or toys anywhere. We knocked on the door and explained this situation to this family who were just appalled. Even more appalled that I had a key to their door. They go away every weekend is what they proceeded to tell us. Just got back a couple hours ago, they said. They were sitting down to have dinner on a Saturday night. But I thought that was it. When we had come to some new town and I was broke again. There was nothing. There was no way back. There was all our money. There was no way going back. And this place saved me.
I was married. My husband, he just wanted me to take care of the children, and that's it. He didn't want me to work. He didn't want me to do anything. He was an old-fashioned guy. He gave me a good life. He had a very good life. So I'll never find nobody like him. My husband passed away 2 years ago. He got a COVID shot and developed a blood clot. You know how they warn you about clots. And one traveled to his brain. It was a struggle, put it like that, when he passed away. Struggle. I self-medicated after all this mess, just to cope with the abandonment issues I already had. I felt abandoned. My dad, well, my stepdad, Lord bless his soul, he was abusive physically. He used to beat me when he got angry, didn't do what he wanted me to do. I would get black eyes, choke marks around my neck, knocked out. Dissociative disorder, that's what they call it. I escaped to deal with all the trauma. My psychiatrist at the time told me he's surprised I haven't used when I was a teenager. He said, because it goes together. Mental abuse and addiction goes together. Crack cocaine, yeah. Whoever thought of cooking that stuff, they know what they was doing. That's what that money was, because it's a chaser. That first hit I got, I never got that hit again. I just chased all those years. The vision go dark, the ringing in the ears. They say that's near-death experience when you have ringing in your ears. I probably got that ringing one time, but out of all them years, I ain't never get that ringing again. And that's what the chase is. You're chasing to get that first hit, but you're never going to get that first, like your first love. You'll never get it again. You'll never have that first love again. My husband, he visited me in my sleep. I was sleeping, he visited me. And I'm like, what do you want? He said, you're doing too much. I said, huh? He said, you're doing too much, I'm afraid for you. You have to realize that your life means more than the drugs. You have to find some peace and you have to forgive. I had to forgive people for all they did to me. I had to forgive myself for what I did to people. And once I forgave, then the healing started. I see a bright future. I want to be a counselor. If you was homeless, I got you. If you was molested, I got you. If you was raped, I got you. If you was sleeping on benches, I got you, right? I can't let everything I've been through just go to waste. I have to get back. I need to help somebody. If I can help one person, I'll be all right. But I would like to help a lot of people, though. I didn't know.
was living with a friend of mine for about 15 years. Our friendship sort of changed, so I was asked to move out. I had retired from Neighborhood Service Center. They had a shelter similar to this one. I worked for them for 11 years, and I was there overnight. It's hard to describe how you feel. You just feel relieved that you have some place to be. So that's all that anyone can ask for.
I guess background, I was in foster care. I got taken at 9. I know my parents. I'm just haven't been with them since I was 9. They felt like my mother wasn't making the right judgment calls. You know how you see people in like wheelchairs, stuff like that? She got fixated on that I wouldn't walk. So it's called spina bifida coda. They kept telling her I didn't have it. She kept taking me to doctors. I mean, somebody believed her. I got surgery for it. They diagnosed her Munchausen by proxy. That's why they took us. I jumped home to home for maybe like a year and a half, and then I got with one family. I mean, I did pretty good in school, honor roll, stuff like that, but in a way it stops your development, and now you have to start all over again. I went to college. I went for clinical psychology. I was gonna do PhD. I didn't finish. It wasn't bad. I was just going through the motions. I don't think I ever healed from maybe traumatic experiences that I did have. And then that's when I got pregnant. I dropped everything and went straight to motherhood. So I was paying like $300-400 a week for daycare, car insurance, gas, electric. And then when you add $1,500 for the place you're staying, it's just a lot. So I got evicted from my apartment after that. My foster mom felt bad for everything that was happening, so she took my daughter. Didn't want me, but she took my daughter, so I'm like, okay, that's, it's better. So at this point, she's with my foster mom, she's staying there, and I was in the car. I bought a car air mattress. They make those, Amazon. They make it to fit your car and everything. It was a newer car, so to save gas, it would turn off every so often, but it was cold, so I had to turn the car on and stuff like that. It was spacious. It wasn't like I could have been riding around in a Versa or something, so it wasn't the worst situation in the world, but it was bad. And then, so how I ended up here was I applied for a job at the nursing home. I got the job. They gave me a couple places to call. This place was on the list. And then they let me move in. Actually was gonna call her the day before to tell her I was not gonna come. But you get to a certain point where it's like, who am I without the child? It was kind of my leap of faith in the step towards our own family.
brother, as you can tell. I do a lot of the talking.
He does a lot of talking.
Yeah.
He remembers a lot more than I do.
Times were hard, people don't think it, but they were hard a little bit back in the 70s. It was 3 days before Christmas. We were sitting in the living room, didn't have no electric, no water, and we were cooking the hot dogs on the kerosene heater. And, my mom just looked at us and said, no matter whatever happens with us, always look out for each other. And that's what we've done over the years. And
I mean, I've had people say, I work with my brother and we ain't like that. And I always said, if you ain't got family, then you don't have nothing.
We struggled with addiction for a long time, and I'm talking a long time. Probably from the time I was 9, 10 years old. We were always into something or another.
As long as you're getting high and everything, you ain't got to worry about them problems. They're still going to be there, don't get me wrong. When you wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, them problems are still going to be there. But to get that relief, you go get high.
I think what really did it for me, and maybe for him, was when this fentanyl stuff started breaking out. I mean, in a month, I could probably count four people that I knew personally. Friends,
Close, yeah.
Drug addicts, but friends. I could count in 1 month 4 people that died. I knew one of these times it was probably going to be me or him, or both of us. Yeah. Because usually one didn't get high without the other. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the drugs that caused us to end up on the street, might as well say. It wasn't the drugs. We've been clean for about 2.5 years. We've been going to the methadone clinic. But we had worked at the same job for 22 years. We were doing tree work for the same company. But when we started getting straight, they started treating us different. And I'm not talking treating us better neither. You would think if you had a couple employees that, got their shit together, so to speak. But it just seemed like it was the opposite.
The more we were getting clean, the more disrespected we got.
Like when we were on drugs, he'd say, do this, do this, do this.
Come in on Sunday, do this and this and that.
Yeah,
so 7 days a week.
And we would do it, we didn't argue about anything, But as we got off of it, I didn't have to come in every weekend. I was happy with my paycheck. I was doing the right thing. My bills were paid, and we quit.
Yep.
But the house we were renting belonged to the boss. Yeah. And I asked him, I said, look, if we quit our job, can we still stay here? I'll get another job, I'll pay you. No. You quit, you got to go.
What am I going to do for work? I mean, I've been at the same job for 22 years and never had to fill out an application or...
I went to 5 different places. Could I get an application? Got to get online. Could I get an application? Online,
Got to go online. Got to what?
There was a few days there, I was sleeping in my damn car. We got a little SUV. He was sleeping in the back, and I was sleeping in the back.
Well, from what I hear, we're like the first
brothers,
in the shelter, so.
But we wanted to go to the same one.
It was a little hard to find something for 2 of us.
When it got hard, I was 19. My mom was in and out of the hospital. She had a lot of complications with her. She was 44 when she died. I didn't get to say fucking goodbye. My mom was the one that kept us together. We got evicted, and we lived in campgrounds that summer. That's when the homelessness started. This was 6 years ago. I don't want to get into the worst of it, but there were times where I was homeless for months on end in the middle of the winter. You're freezing, you got no food, you don't have a jacket. What are you gonna do? Except your feet and sit there cold? Nah, I'm gonna go in that store, I'm gonna steal a damn jacket. Might get arrested for it, but it kept me warm, didn't it? And I'm gonna go into that store, I'm gonna go grab a drink, put it in my pocket, and I'm gonna go grab some food and put it in my pocket, because it's the only thing that's gonna keep me from dying tonight. Laundromats. After hours, they'll still have the dryers going. Well, that hot air has to go somewhere. Outside. So you just sit under the vent, and it's just blowing hot air at you. And it smells good as shit, because it's their washed clothes. That fact that you can't shower, you can't sleep as well, you can't eat when you have to, you can't go cook something, you can't have a space where you're alone. People get to laugh at you when you're on the street because you look like a bum. Emotionally, it destroys you. Like, me going homeless was not my fault. Certain things were my fault. But the reason of what I'm dealing with in my life, there was nothing I could do. And a lot of people look at less fortunate people like they're less. Like there's something that they could do and they aren't doing it. It does a lot to you. That can kill you. There was this big bridge in White River Junction, and I jumped. I was sick of the ridicule. I was sick of feeling like a failure. And I did jump. But they saw it happening, me moving. I think he grabbed me by my belt. So by the time I was like about to fall, he already had me. You know, like, okay, this is it. That's it, that's it, that's it. Like, that's it. You're done. There's nothing after that. That feeling is, it's a hard to explain feeling. It's like you almost fell. This one is literally about how I'm not homeless anymore and I'm coming back. It's called A New Arrival. What are the lyrics? Who do you want to be if you fall back down? And what do you see when you know what you found? It's like, when you fall down, are you gonna just give up? You had an idea of what you wanted to be, but then all this happened. You're gonna be bigger than you are now. Do you remember who you wanted to be? Who do you wanna be when you fall back down? What do you see